Today we'll take a look at how you can deploy an Express.js server on Serverless. So we are going to start by going to the Serverless website. You can see we're here right now. Let's sign in first. This is where all your services are going to be. So we are going to hit create app over here. And then we are going to create an Express app. So you want to click on this one. They'll prompt you to put the name of the application. So let's just call it YouTube Serverless Express. And then you're going to hit deploy. You can choose multiple providers. We're going to go with AWS. You would need an account with AWS and you want to configure serverless with your credentials. And then the first thing you have to do is copy paste this command. So you have npm I, you copy it, and then you open a terminal window. And then let's just go to documents from here. And then we just copy paste that one. Let it run for a while. We're going to go back to the serverless app here. And the next command you want to copy paste is this one. So we copy it over here. We'll give it a minute for this to finish loading. There you go. And then we just want to copy paste it over here. So what this is doing is this is going into the YouTube Serverless Express directory that we just created. And then we're deploying whatever is inside that folder. We're going to look what is inside that directory in a bit. So let's just run this command for now. And we're going to give it a few minutes for it to stop running the command. And there you go. So it takes a few minutes, but you can just keep it running while you do something else, and it's just going to do its thing. In the console, you can see a few information that it spits out. So you have the service name over here, and then we have the endpoint themselves over here, and then the name of the function. So let's go back to the dashboard over here. This should have automatically redirected us, and this is your dashboard for the application you just created. So now let's go into the code and see what was automatically generated for us. So we're just going to do code dot. And then, okay, so this is the directory that was just created for us automatically. So there's a serverless directory over here, which has a bunch of template files we don't really care about. You have the node module where it's all the packages. You have the package.json and a serverless.yaml file. The main code is in your handler.js. So you can see they created some boilerplate code for you over here. So if you are familiar with Express, you have a get endpoint over here, which is the root directory. You have another endpoint here, which is the hello endpoint, and that pretty much just returns a string over here. So what we're going to try to do is, now that the application has been deployed, we're going to try hitting the two endpoints to see if we get anything or not. So let's start with the root endpoint. So we're going to go back to our browser. And then I believe if you go to API endpoints, you can see the endpoint you want to hit. So we want to copy it, and then let's go to the new tab and then hit it. And as you can see, we're getting a message, hello from the root. That's exactly what we're getting from here. And then let's try to hit the hello endpoint. So we just want to tack on hello at the end. And you see hello from Pat. I'll just zoom in. There you go. You see hello from Pat. So we know that both of these endpoints are working now. The next thing we want to do is actually make a change here, deploy the application again, and see how quickly we can test things out. So we're just going to change a few strings. So let's just call this hello from root again. Let's just write it a few times. And same for the path. Let's just do a bunch of again. Or spell it. There you go. All right, so once you make any changes, you want to go back to the terminal. And then just from here, we just want to run serverless deploy again. We have to give it a few minutes for the command to stop. And yeah, there you go. So it finished deploying again. So the URL is going to stay the same. Let's go back to the browser and hit this one again. And as you can see, we have the new changes reflected over here. Let's go back to the root endpoint. And you see hello from root again. So our changes got reflected very, very quickly. A few key things to note here is if you go back to the terminal, you were given a HTTPS link. So it's a secured link that they already give you, which can help you with development so that you don't have to worry about any SSL certificate. And you can also see the dashboard over here, which gives you a bunch of metrics automatically without you needing to set up any kind of alerting or monitoring on your endpoint. So next we're gonna look at the dashboard itself and a few of the key metrics that you really want to take a look at. So first, let's stay with the overview tab over here. So you can see the number of API requests that the number of times your API was called. As you can see, we had the 2 endpoints and we called them 2 times each. So we have 4 API requests. If there were any errors, you can also see the API errors over here. The function invocation is pretty much the same as the API request for our case. You can get a breakdown by the endpoint, which is very cool. So as you can see, we got the root endpoint 2 times and the hello endpoint 2 times. And the other cool thing to know is the cold starts by function. So what happens in a serverless function is if you're hitting the server for the first time, or you're hitting it after a very long time, it takes a while to get going. That's only going to happen for the first request. So this dashboard gives you an idea of how many of the requests suffered from cold start. These requests would have taken significantly longer than what an average request would take. The next thing we can look at is the Explorer tab over here. This is where you get a more detailed breakdown of each of the requests on your endpoint. So you can see we hit the root endpoint hello, and then the hello endpoint again, and then the root endpoint. For each of the requests, you can see the timestamp, the HTTP method that was used, and also the duration, which is going to be how long it overall took. And you have the status code here too. So you can get a very detailed breakdown. You can also filter by like different status codes over here. So we can do like 200s to get only the 200s. And you can also play around with the duration to see in a given window how many requests came in. So as you can see, for free, we're getting quite a lot of metrics that you can use to kind of get an understanding of the performance of your endpoint. And this is something you're getting for free. You don't need to set up anything apart from just building your application from that boilerplate code. 2 other things that I wanted to kind of just go over. One is the deployment tab. So you can link up your GitHub account with serverless, and what that would let you do is the moment you push some code into GitHub, it can automatically trigger a build and you'll get all your build history over here. To the left, you can see we deployed our app 2 times, so you have like 2 logs. So it's very, very convenient. Whenever you make a code change, you can push your code to GitHub, and serverless will automatically build the app for you and deploy it. The last thing is the alerts tab over here. So you can set up multiple different kind of alerts. So like you can have a threshold of number of 500s that you really care about. So let's say if you get more than 20 500s in 15 minutes, you get notified about it. There are multiple methods you can use for alerting. You can have a serverless message Slack, or you can connect it to a webhook endpoint, or just email the alert to you. So you can see there are like multiple ways you can make sure that serverless alerts you if anything goes wrong. And all this is happening without you needing to add any code, which is very, very nice. So yeah, that is pretty much all I had for y'all today. Hopefully you learned something helpful and you can use it in the future. I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye bye.